Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praise unto Yahweh Shim Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. Honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So, a brother had posted this in the chat. Maybe he done a video on it. So, if he has, I'll add to it. If he hasn't, then I'll do a video on it. And when you go into the scriptures, into the Bible, you find out that children are a blessing. Okay, it's not a financial decision that you're going to be making. Matter of fact, when you go into the scriptures, the very first instruction that was written out there within the Bible was to go out there, be fruitful and multiply. And that was an instruction that was given to man, to beast, and to the seeds of the field. All right, the express purpose of all living creatures on the earth. Matter of fact, the main objective is to bring forth seed. Okay, you might call it game, you might call it the car, you might call it money, you might call it your so-called good looks, but at the end of the day, it comes down to one simple thing. Okay, one simple objective, which is to bring forth children and multiply. And that's the greatest riches that there is on the earth, is to have many children. Right? It's one thing to have all the gold in the world and have no children to inherit it. But it's a beautiful thing for a man to have many sons and many daughters, of which when you live in a wicked ass society like we're living in right now, and this might be more of a rant, I'll try to quote as many scriptures as physically possible. But when you're living in a wicked society that is built upon a debt system, then you have a situation where pretty much having children is like a curse. Okay, right? Because let's be honest about it. If any of you brothers have a phone call right now of your old lady telling you that she's pregnant or whatever, the first thing you're gonna feel is not excitement. Okay, you go into the ancient world when your old lady tells you, look, she's she's up the duffer, like they say up here in the north of England. Pretty much that's a joyous celebration thing, man. Okay, many parties within the ancient world were started off of the back of that one statement. Many great gatherings were started off of the back of having children. Matter of fact, when you was sealing particular alliances and when you was making particular treaties with your neighbor, and you would give your son to your neighbor's daughter, or maybe even your neighbor himself, because young women were married off to women of a slightly older age or older age. Okay, so there was alliances that was made, and the seal of that deal was the woman. Okay, but what was the main objective? Was to raise children. Okay, to that particular line, man. Okay, and matter of fact, when you check out the whole 12 tribes of Israel, the main thing about the whole 12 tribes of Israel is that what? It's 12 tribes, man. It's not 4, it's not 5, it's not 3, it's 12. Okay, which came by way of what? Which came by way of the seed of man. Okay, 12 sons. All right, which is like I said, that's wealth, right? But going on back into the video, it says here, why does it cost $32,000 dollars just to give birth in America? All right, because it's a wicked ass society, man. That's the simple and short answer of it. All right, because when you go out there into the so-called poor world, okay, the East, right, people are having children left, right, and center, man. Okay, it ain't like America's so sophisticated that that's the only place you have to go to give birth, right? It's just that it's at the epicenter of where the wickedness within the world comes from. So I'm gonna just read this. I'm a rant, and I'll quote scriptures where it's necessary. It says the U.S. is the most expensive nation in the world in which to have a baby, and it may factor into thousands of bankruptcies each year. And that thing of bankruptcies, that's what I'm gonna go into. Okay, I'll go into that point, and then go into the scriptures and show you that it's part of the biblical prophecy, man. When this man was gonna rule the world, every facet of life, he was gonna basically make it worse. He was gonna make every facet of life worse, and he was gonna run this thing by way of debt. Okay, he wasn't gonna run this thing in righteousness. He wasn't gonna be this, master of intelligence and come on the scene and revolutionize how things were done on the earth and make everything right. He was gonna make it worse, man. And that's the nature of this man. He's made it to where having children is like a curse. Now, what kind of a person does that? Is that a person you would call an angelic being? Is that an individual that you would call a perpetuator of life? Okay, that's not an individual called a perpetuator of life. That's a wicked ass individual. And going into the thing of debt, there was this thing called the year of release. Okay, when you go into the scriptures, all right, if I'm not mistaken, there's a thing called the year of release, where if you got a particular debts, all right, those debts may last a certain amount of time, but after that certain amount of time has collapsed, then guess what? That person had to be released off of the bonds, off of that debt, man. You have to release them, because if you go into where families are in debt and then the debts inherit down to the children and so on and so forth, how are you gonna have a functional society like that? Most importantly, how is you gonna have it to where wealth is maintained within the unit? Okay, when you go to where you got assets, of which one of the major things of how Israel run, the elder out here, Bukhari Kwame always says it, was that you had land ownership. When you got debt, there comes a point where you have to start giving up portions of your land because you got to pay off that debt, man. That's why nobody has anything out there within America. That's why it's a collapse in society. But that's all goes into what? Into fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so it says there, continuing, it says, Stella Apple, okay, and her husband did everything by the book. They went to the hospital covered by their insurance. They saw an obstetrician in their plan, but her 3 sons, triplets, were born prematurely. Bills started rolling in. The hospital charged, and this is some funny shit. To have 3 children, it cost the $877,000. Okay, all right. The best part of £1 million. All right, how much short are you of £1 million? 133,000 short of $1 million. That's a hell of a lot of money just to have 3 children. Whereas, and when you see the picture, man, that's 3 sons, man. Okay, that's not a thing where. So here it is. You're looking at the children. You're looking at them children. You're looking at them like they're a bill, man. That's not how you're supposed to raise children. That's wicked as all hell, man. Every time you look at them children, just from the birth, you haven't even fed these niggas yet. Just from the day they was born, you're already a mill down in the pocket, man. That's absolutely disgusting, man. And that's how this function. That's how this whole thing of America functions, and they call it this most advanced society. But check it out. If she was out there back in, because you look like a Nigerian woman, if she was back out there in Nigeria in the sticks somewhere, guess what? She'll have her sons. It'll cost her nothing, okay? Because someone in the family is gonna know how to deliver children, and them children would have grown up stronger than they're ever gonna grow up there out there in America, and the whole family would have been joyous at their birth. Now you're gonna be born into a life of debt, perpetual debt, okay? So continuing, it says, when the bill started coming in, to be very honest, I was in an emotional wreck, said Apple. And this is in the midst of trying to take care of 3 babies who were premature. Now, imagine that, man. Imagine the kind of thoughts and things you're going to be thinking. Here it is, you got all the hormones all over the place because you just had children. Okay, they're premature at that. And I've seen a woman that had twins premature, and that one was a damn wreck, man. Here it is, you got 3 premature babies. It's funny because she had 2 sons as well. Okay, you had 3 premature, and you gotta take care of how much? You could take care of $1 million worth of debt, and you know them debt callers, they're gonna be at the door. Okay, that's hell, man. Okay, that's the worst possible thing that you could possibly be thinking. That's the worst possible situation. That's like the worst possible situation, man. Okay, but that's the life that Esau is pushing onto the world, man. Okay, so enough of the rant, and let's just hit 1 or 2 scriptures and call it quits on this one. All right, so the book of Habakkuk, this is Habakkuk, show you that this thing of debt and keeping people in debt, that's a part of how Esau likes to run things, man. But when the kingdom set up, we're never gonna have any kind of problems like this, because we ain't gonna be so
so outrageous as to keep a person poor right when they've just had premature children. Matter of fact, when you go into the scriptures, we ain't gonna have premature children, man. No birth pains, no nothing like that, man. It's gonna be just a nice place to be. None of this BS that we're living in right now. So the book of Habakkuk, the second chapter, and I'll go straight to the point. Um, let me just find the point. Okay, Habakkuk 2 and 6, it says, shall not all of these take up a proverb against him, a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increases that which is not his? Because to put a person in millions of pounds worth of debt, that's just stealing, man. That's thievery. Continuing, it says, and to him that is laden with thick clay, and as we always go into, thick clay is abatya, it's weight, pledges, and heavy debts. So that's how America is set up. It's set up by debt. So hopefully with that rant, at least I would hope I've inspired you to think in a particular type of way. And, at the very most, I would hope I've edified. That must say, all praise unto Yahweh, Shemi Ashai, Wa Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone, honest you brothers, to be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.